Hi guys, this is Mike from The Last Corvette. So earlier in the day, I posted three pictures. And the three pictures that I posted were very simple. They were a shoe polish or a shoe wax that I use, which is black for this particular vehicle. The second showed the applicator. So this is a smaller bottle that I bought. So it comes with a top applicator. Some of the bigger ones come with basically a circular pad that you can use for your shoes or you can use for your seats. And then the third picture was and is the best, product you can buy that's made by 3M. By the way, I've owned boats. And I still do service boats. Boats in general, their vinyl is put to the real test, and only the best products work. And 3M product line, especially for marine applications, is just by far the best. It is, you can have the cleanest, the best looking seats and cushions on a boat that are well conditioned under the craziest conditions, being complete, 90 plus sunny salt water, and as long as you apply it every other day or once a week in fresh water, your vinyl seats, your cushions are going to look brand new. So with that said, what do you think it's going to do to the seats in the car that's protected? It's basically speaks for itself. So let's start. First of all, this comes from somebody, like I said, that buys and sells cars. I do the same concept and the same principle and the same process to my own vehicles, my friends, my coworkers, and I also do it to boats and motorcycles and you name it. Now, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to approach this. The wrong way, first of all, this is a two-seater C6. This is a true two-seater sports car. So what do you think happens? This is a 80-20 or a 70-30 approach, meaning that 70 to 80% of the time, there's only one person in the vehicle, and that is the driver driving it. The other 20 to 30%, somebody's in the passenger seat. So if you look, now this is a all original interior, has never been replaced. I can tell you, and I know. So look at the driver's seat. It shows, first of all, it's in very good shape. Trust me, it's in very good shape for the year. It shows your typical wear, which are the crease lines and some other imperfections that I'm going to get into here in a second. Now, let's look at the passenger seat. The passenger seat is basically 90% new. It has, I think the person had a dog, so it has a few tiny little scuffs, but overall, it's basically brand new. So before I begin with explaining how I approach and fix some of the fade spots on leather from typical wear, I'm going to begin with the no-nos. The no-no is this. When you get creases on your leather seats, leather/vinyl seats, most of the time your leather seats are about 60% vinyl to 70% vinyl, and everything else is leather. So some of the time, most of the time, depending on the product line, so a GM or like Mercedes, obviously they use a real pigskin, they use a real leather. On a GM product, Ford product till this day, what they'll do is all your tough areas or all your wear areas will be leather. And then all your inserts will be vinyl, like this perforated area here. That's why you see the stitching. So they do that on purpose, because if you just put regular vinyl in, it's not going to even last, a year. So, but normally what you see, especially on the driver's side, driver's seat, you always see the crease marks. And that is very simple. You see the crease marks for two reasons. It's because you're getting in and out of the vehicle and you're making contact with the outer side of the cushion here and also on the bolster side here. This is very typical from somebody that buys vehicles at auction to see on sports cars, which are lower to the ground, and also trucks and SUVs that are high off the ground. That's because you have to either prop yourself up to jump in, and usually jumping in sideways right onto the side of the seat, the outer edge of the seat, and making contact here and here. And you do the same thing when you get into a lower car. You kind of slide yourself in versus jumping in. And that's what you get. So now, there are there are many products out there that claim they will fix and make your seat look brand new. Well, here is the truth. They do sell a clear putty. And what that does is you can take all of your creases, and it's a filler. It's a clear silicone-based filler. So what you do is you fill all your creases, and then what you do is you wait for it to dry. Then you sand all the high spots and make it nice and smooth. At the same time, you're gonna discolor everything that's in between your creases as well. So you're gonna create scuff marks here, and you're gonna take some of the paint or some of the color right out of this leather or the vinyl, depending on where the damage is. Then you're gonna take your vinyl / leather spray paint. Now, obviously, it's not your regular spray paint. Once again, what it does, it is, first of all, it's silicone based, and it also can contract and expand and flow with the seat. But what happens is, over time, these creases will come back because the putty or the filler will dry and start to crack. And spray paint that's on top, that's basically acting like a filler, and also as a putty, will crack with it, and you're going to end up with a very messy situation, because then you're going to have to sand everything off again. You're going to have a really just a nasty looking seat that at that point you can either refill again, so putty fill again, spray paint, and you're going to repeat this vicious cycle over and over and over. So this is what I do, and this is what works. First of all, these creases is your normal wear and tear in the seat. I don't ever use putty. Like I said, it's just junk. It's a waste of money. It's going to make your seat look good for a few weeks, maybe a month, and you're going to be doing it all over again. And at the end of the day, if your seat is creased, or you got rips, or your stitching is coming apart, the only way you can fix it is you got to take the seat out, you got to take the seat apart, and you have to replace the outer skins. Trust me, just only way you're going to do it right. Now, in my case, I don't have any rips. I don't have any stitching problems. It is basically just touch-ups. So far I've done 2 touch-ups, and I've done them to the seat, I've done them to the side bolster, and I actually did it to the steering wheel. Now, shoe shine, shoe wax, shoe touch-up, shoe filler, whatever you want to call it, they come in different colors now. Black, white, tan, I mean, you name it, brown. I mean, there's different shades, different colors. And in recent years, they really expanded their lineups, because there are just so many different colors of leather shoes are out there. So many different dyes, I should say. And there's a shoe polish or a shoe shine for every single color out there, which is really cool, because it pretty much covers the entire spectrum of what automotive manufacturers use when it comes to color on the seats. So the application process is super easy. What you do, in my case, I had a wear mark right in this area. It was here, and it was also right on the stitching itself where the 2 pieces meet right here. And this was from the seatbelt, because the seatbelt on a Corvette is kind of like this, depending on if you're wearing it or not. Also, as you're getting in, your back is pushing on this bolster side as you get in. Same thing here. I had fade spots. When I say fade spots or problem spots, on black leather, doesn't matter what color the leather is, you're going to find a blotchy fade spots that are turning white. All basically it's doing, it's you're wearing down the outer layers, and you're taking the color out with it. So in my case, black leather, I took black shoe shine, shoe polish, shoe wax. And what you do is you flip it over and you use the applicator and you slowly apply only to the areas that are faded or have problem areas. So in this case, what I did is I touched up all the stitching that was showing. The spot was about this big that was showing white. So I applied it here. I also applied it to the creases. It's not going to get rid of the creases, but it's going to make them look a lot better. And especially, normally it takes about 2 or 3 applications to cover up the area. So this is my second. So what I did is I applied it here. I also applied it here. As you can see, it looks much, much better. I also have to do, there's an area right here where your butt sits. I also applied it to the steering wheel. So the steering wheel, same thing, had few marks on it from just this, actually, in this area, we'll call it 7 o'clock. This is your knee. Normally somebody puts their knee up here to hold the steering wheel. Over time it wears down. I also had a zip tie mark on the steering wheel. That's from the auction. They put a zip tie and they had the person's license plate zip tied over the steering wheel. So I touched that up. As far as the touch-up process, it's very simple. So like I said before, what you do is you apply it. So in this case, I applied it to the outer side and the side of the seat. And I also applied it here, just in this area. You let it sit, sit for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then you want to take a microfiber towel and you wax on, wax off. What you're doing is you're rubbing the shoe shine into the seat. You're rubbing the color into the seat, into the problem area. Once you polish it in, you'll see that it will blend right in. And then you just let it dry. And usually it dries within 24 hours. Same thing with the steering wheel. Okay, you're not going to see anything. And I applied it early in the day. And other key is, right now it's about 40, maybe 35 degrees outside. You want to do it when it's nice and warm. It just works faster and works better. Now, what you do is, once you apply it, don't put any kind of leather prep or any kind of conditioner on it until you are done with your layers. Normally it takes about 3 layers to fix your blotchy spots on the seat. So in my case, I've done 2 so far. I'm going to do 1 more. And then from there, what you do is you let it dry again. And then you apply the 3M. And what that does, it cleans and it also protects. It's not your greasy vinyl leather stuff you get from Armor All where you basically slide right out of the seat. It is the best product by 3M, like I said, proven on boats, on marine applications that are the toughest. And I mean the toughest to keep clean and keep conditioned. You apply it, a very light coat. You apply it, same thing with a microfiber towel, and you rub it all into the seat. And I'm telling you, it's going to bring back your seats. They're going to be softer. They're going to be they're just going to feel better. And it's going to probably extend the life of even the creased areas by as many as 2 to 3 years before you actually have to replace the outer skin. So now the biggest myth out there is people think that if they apply shoe shine or shoe polish to their steering wheel, to their seat, it will stain their shorts, it will stain their pants, their shirts, or whatever. That is just not true. If you apply it and you jump right in, absolutely. If you apply it and then you use your microfiber concept, like I said before, and you actually work the product into your leather, into your vinyl, and then you let it sit. You want to let it sit, like I said, for at least 4 hours. The best is 24 hours without touching it. It will not hurt or damage anything. Not your seats, not whatever you're wearing. It's not going to just rub right off. And that is just completely not true. So apply it, fix your seats, and don't worry about it coming off. Obviously, eventually, with time, with conditioning the seats, you're going to have to redo this process, reapply this process, probably maybe a couple of times a season or maybe just once a year, depending on how bad the seats are. But it won't come off you know, with a single swipe of your, you know, arm or your leg. That's just not going to happen. Okay, so that is it in a nutshell. So hopefully it helps some people out, and hopefully it's you know, it's a lesson for some people. But here's where we kind of stand with the Volvo, switching from the Corvette. The Volvo, the inner impeller came in, and unfortunately, I was testing it out. I was looking at it. I did, you know, previously took pictures in a video, and I did, you know, put the inner impeller housing into the turbine housing itself. But here is the issue. This dust cap here, the seal cap for the bearings is loose. It's not supposed to be. So the company, I'm not going to bring the company into this, but they're going to send me out a brand new, another replacement. Hopefully second time is the charm. That way I can put this thing together and be done with it. Because trust me, if I put this in, then within a month or even weeks, I'll be taking this apart again. I just don't want to do it. It's a lot of work. A lot of tedious work to get this in and out, and you want to make sure that the parts or the components that you're using are nice and tight and new, and they're not going to fail on you within the first couple of weeks. All right, so with that said, the weather outside is still, I don't know, Christmassy, snowing. Hopefully by the end of the week, it's supposed to be in the mid-50s. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully the whole video on touching up seats helps you guys. And if you want to comment below, go ahead, and I'll catch you guys later.